Hello everyone, welcome to yet another session of Master Mains PYQ by NEXT IAS. Today we will be discussing a question from your geography portion. Geography of your GS paper 1 of CSE Mains 2023. So the question here is, how are the fjords formed? Why do they constitute some of the most picturesque areas of the world? It is a 10 marker and you need to write it in 150 words. From the syllabus part, it covers geological locations and features. Alright, so here the question has two parts. How are the fjords formed and why do they constitute some of the most picturesque areas of the world? Now, in the intro part, we will start with the definition of fjords. So, if you have seen the pictures of fjords on the internet or you have personally witnessed a fjord, then you know about this thing that these are the elongated narrow inlets of water, inlets of sea water in the regions which are mountainous, alright, and glaciated. So these areas are called as fjords, and here in the fjords U-shaped valleys are formed. This is the mountainous region, alright, this is the sea water. These are very beautiful areas, alright, you can see the pictures on the internet. These are mainly found in countries like Canada, USA, Norway, alright, in these countries and many other countries you can find these fjords. If you see if we can draw a map of like Norway, then we can see how these are formed. See, this is like these, alright. Not every fjord is too long, some are short also. These are extended inside the land structure. So these are fjords. This is Norway, if we assume it. Okay, these are fjords. This can extend up to the maximum we know, the longest fjord we know, that is up to 350 km inside the mainland, and it is found in Greenland. The name is Scoresby Sound fjord. This is found in Greenland. This is the longest fjord we know. So in the intro part, you can start with the definition of fjord. Now, the main part of the question is how the fjords are formed. So, if you see how the fjords are formed, the formation of fjord, you can broadly divide it into four parts. First is glaciation, alright. Second is glacial retreat. Third is land rebound. And fourth is flooding of valley. Okay, so we will cover the formation of fjords through these four basic steps. So first starting with glaciation. In the ice age, whole of the earth was covered with ice. You know that thing. Ice and glaciers are everywhere. So in due course of time, over million of the years, the ice started melting. The sea level was also rising up. So with the melting of ice, the glacial retreat started. But before that, in the glaciation part, when the glaciers are there in a place, then the glacier cuts the bed, alright, the bed of the glacier also, and laterally also it cuts. So due to that erosion, the land gets deepened. I'll show you through a diagram. I'll show you this thing. Let's assume this is the sea level, alright, and here is the crust, earth crust, alright. So here glaciers are there. In due course of time, the glaciers were cutting in the bed. So extension of the glacier downside, it used to happen. Now with melting or the glacial retreat, these glaciers starting going back in the way, okay, in this way. Then what happened? These valleys were formed already because of the glacial erosion. These valleys were formed. In due course of time, when the sea level was rising and this glacial retreat was happening, then water start entering these areas, alright, and thus the U-shaped valleys were formed. So this is the basic process through which these fjords formed. Alright, so here we were going to the points. Glaciation, that is erosion in the seabed and laterally and formation of U-shaped valleys. Second is glacial retreat. in the glacial retreat, what was happening is, when the glaciers were there in this place, there is some pressure which was because of the weight of the glacier itself on the land, on the crust. When the glaciers were retreating, the land rebound. All right, upliftment of the earth crust, it also happened, the rebound of the land also happened. Okay, so because of that land retreat, the pressure was released. Okay, and this didn't happen suddenly, it happened for thousands of years. Through thousands of the years, these things happened, the glacial retreat and the rebound of the land. All right, and then the U-shaped valleys were formed. These U-shaped valleys which were formed got flooded. Okay, and thus the fjords were formed. So if you wanted to broadly divide this area, you could have divided it into glaciation, glacial retreat, land rebound, not retreat, rebound, land rebound, and then flooding of the valleys. So this is the process through which fjords were formed. All right, now if we see next part of the question, how do they constitute some of the most picturesque areas of the world? All right, let's see how they form this. How they form the most picturesque area, areas of the world. If you have seen the photos, these fjords appear so beautiful, in the sense that many features are there, like water. If you see the water, it is mainly blue hue is there, and clear water is there. All right, the mountainous region, if you see, the cliffs are steep. All right, and high cliffs are also there. Almost the highest record is 1600 meters high cliff is there. Okay, so these mountainous, if you see, steep cliffs are seen. Also, through these fjords, we get to know about the geological history of the earth. All right, and this also create interest in readers, and recreational activities are also done here. In various countries like USA, recreational activities are performed in the fjord area, different fjord areas. We will see these one by one, in the sense that with the examples. We should write examples. If the structure is existing on the earth, then we must write examples. All right, and biodiversity. Biodiversity is also there. Different type of fishes and sea creatures, like cod, salmon, etc. These are found in these fjord areas. And if you see, various tourism activities are conducted in various countries in the fjords. I mean, many of the fjords, the cruises can enter, but in some fjords only ships can enter, like small boats can enter. All right, so if you see the water, the blue hue, the clear water, so in these examples, you can write about Milford Sound fjord. Okay, this is an example. In Milford Sound fjord, you can find many waterfalls. All right, so blue hue, clear water, and waterfalls are there. In the mountainous, if you see cliff steep, then there are two things. Steep cliffs you can see in like Mitchell Peak. It is 1600 meter high in New Zealand. This is an example you can give. Okay, Mitchell Peak is an example you can give. Also, there is, I'll clean it up somewhere. There is one Pulpit rock plateau and Lice fjord. All right, this is in Norway. This Pulpit rock plateau, it is a very beautiful area. Tourists go there, and the height of the cliff is also very high, and the view from this top is beautiful. So you can write about an example of this Pulpit rock plateau also. All right, some mountainous regions are here covered with glaciers, ice. All right, in the Greenland area also, around the Iceland area also. This also you can write, and in the example you can write about Kenai fjord. So these are some example of fjord you can give, and with the help of these steep mountains, the beautiful view, the green cover, and in some area the snow covered mountains, all right, and the steep cliffs, these areas form the most picturesque areas around the world. Alright, so in this way you can address this part. In the conclusion part, you can write about the threat to the biodiversity, you can say, or the threat to the structure, like because of global warming the sea level is rising, that is also a threat to the fjords, and various conservation efforts are taking place. Conservation efforts, all right, through state, countries, governments also, and globally also. Like one body is World Heritage Marine Program. Okay, so you can quote about this also, and various other efforts like global warming should be controlled through lowering of emissions. All right, the global warming can be controlled, and through that also these conservation efforts of saving the fjords can be taken. So in the conclusion part, you can write this. I'll give you one task. I'll tell you the types of fjords. The type of fjords are basically three. One is sill, second is hanging, and third is compound. I want you to go through your textbooks, through the internet, and know the difference amongst these three. This is your task. Alright, so I hope you had a value discussion today, and till we meet again, please do write the question posted at the end of this video and submit it for free evaluation. Thank you very much.